I'm joined in studio by Michael O'Doherty of the Plexus Bioenergy Clinic in Ennis, and Michael, a native of Doonbeg. And Michael, clinics all over the world at this stage, are there?
Well, certainly people are travelling around the world, and we do a little bit of travelling, John, yes.
25 years you've been practising alternative. Would I call it alternative or complementary health practices?
Yeah, I think when we started 25 years ago, I suppose, John, people probably might have looked at that whole area as not sure about it, but I suppose what really consolidated the work we did was when Gay Byrne at that time in the Late Show got patients and we treated them and with successful outcome. And I suppose it grew from there. Then people had a trust in what it was about, and at that time we pointed out quite clearly that it wasn't about replacing what medicine had to offer. It was indeed about looking at new ways of confronting health issues. And of course, over the last 25 years, the health system in our society has gone crazy. Real problems out there.
Will you remind listeners what it is you do, Michael, and how you got into this?
Well, I was worked with the Department of Justice initially, John, and I was involved in martial arts, and we went to Yugoslavia, part of our training program to from the physical perspective to do the martial arts, and they had developed a system of therapy in former Yugoslavia, which is now known as Croatia, to work with the energy system of the body, and they had concluded that certainly it would be of benefit to people, and we just learned the basics really and came back and started practicing it, and suddenly people were feeling something. We didn't really know what was going on, but we just said, well, look, it's helping people, and as I said, then it just ended up on the TV, and it moved from there, and 25 years later, this is where we are.
It's a complementary type of healthcare, a healing, some people might describe it as, the likes of Michael Flatley and Brendan Grayson people have. How do you describe it?
Yeah, well, look, 25 years later, we can clearly explain a little bit more that what we know, John, is the body is made up of energy. If it becomes imbalanced through stress, trauma, whatever, then certainly this energy imbalance will lead to illness. Now, within our clinics, our whole focus is to, 1, get the energy flowing, 2, get the mindset of the patient functioning right, 3, teach them to deal with their emotional stress, 4, looking at the whole nutritional side, and engaging patients or clients in a process that gives them control over their health is the real key to success. So it's not about Michael O'Doherty or anybody curing people of serious illnesses. It's about engaging people in a process, making them responsible, and we have found that those who engage in that process in conjunction with what we do, we've seen their lives have changed.
Like Michael Flatley, most prominently, the Lord of the Dance. Yeah, well, he was sort of wiped out from a mystery bug or virus, or he seemed burned out.
Yeah, and it's a big problem today. When Michael came to me, Michael in 2006, encountered a huge amount of problems in the sense of his health. Had 200 medical tests, 50 of the best medical doctors in the world, and nothing could show up. And this is a big problem today, John, in our society, where you have a lot of people who are, young people in particular, who are burnt out, who have digestive problems, headaches, aches and pains, not able to concentrate or focus properly, and they're going and having the medical analysis done, which is correct, and nothing is showing up. And suddenly people are frustrated as trying to figure out why it is that their body is not functioning correctly. And, they end up then coming to us like Michael did, or many of the others, as you've pointed out. And once again, as I said, we got that energy flowing. Once we explain to them why it is the body gets sick, and that's the biggest challenge to people. They don't understand why the body responds the way it is and why they're feeling the way they are. And a lot of the time when we simply explain this to them, that this is why you're sick, this is why you have your problems, and they understand it and they make the changes, then they can start to get better.
Is it sometimes that you actually just have to take time out and look at illness differently, assess the problem and how you're dealing with it, as opposed to, I suppose, what most of us do, or maybe people have to do through necessity, keep on working, keep on raising the kids, keep on busy with their life, and you're just looking for a quick treatment usually.
Well, that's it, you see, and I think that's what's happening today. We need to waken up out of the quick fix idea. But I think the great thing, John, I work with a lot of medical people as well, and thankfully they've begun to realise the value of educating people about their own health. And I just did a documentary recently which involved Professor Fergus Shanahan, who's a gastroenterologist in Cork, and he made a very important statement, and he says, the diversity of what we eat on a daily basis has a direct effect on the diversity of bacteria in our gut, which in turn determines the type of illness we will develop. Now, all of this is online for people to see. He's a fantastic professor of medicine, and he shows quite clearly that, that certain things we do in our daily life, yes, you're right, we have to get out there and we have to raise our family, we have to work, and the pressures are enormous now. But at the same time, time, what needs to be done is there needs to be an education program delivered into the homes of our people, advising them as to the types of simple changes they could make that would make a huge difference. And it's only just yesterday I was reading with the Health Minister, Leo Varadkar, within the public service, advising the serious need for the activity within people's health within the public sector. So it's great to see that happening, that people are being told, look, change your diet somewhat, get your mind a bit focused, take a little bit of time to relax, get out and do a bit of exercise, keep it simple, and you'll be amazed what you can achieve.
It's what they call a more holistic approach to your lifestyle and to your health in general, and not just concentrating on quick fixes or one specific issue, or for the headaches, for the aches and pains, or whatever.
Yes. I mean, the gut is the real key, John. I mean, that's the one thing that we have found is fundamental. The types of food we're eating today, we're living in a convenient world where, we want to get everything packaged, frozen, and as quickly as we can. And what's happening is that a lot of our foods are high in sugar, they're high in the types of foods that stimulate. And when you have excess stimulants going into your system, we know that it causes huge amounts of responses in the body. So our immune system is all the time responding to what we do on a daily basis. But when we look specifically at our food, and I genuinely believe, based on my 25 years of experience, that the type of food we're eating and our environment and the stresses that we're under is the foundation. There is no secret for the illnesses that we have. That is the foundation for our health. And if we were to make some changes there, I know that it would bring about miraculous recoveries.
You say you're seeing a lot of people stressed, tired, worn out, burned out, chronic fatigue, some people might call it as well. People are burnt out, they have chronic fatigue, they have that kind of brain fog, John, they have the huge amount of problems like that. And the thing about it is that in young people in particular, I have never seen as many young people sick, that have no energy, that can't concentrate, can't focus. And again, you look at the whole area of social media. We know that a lot of people at night time are using social media. Young kids late at night. It's not just young kids. Some people are never off Facebook and various other. I suppose. And you're talking about kids being on computers and computer games and things like that. Absolutely. But you're right. We are all have got into this habit of checking Facebook, Twitter, and all that late at night. That makes the brain overactive, and we stimulate that with the wrong types of sugary foods and all of that. And suddenly, we go into bed, we can't sleep because the brain is active, and some people are sleeping with the phones alongside them or underneath their pillow, and the whole system is changed. So we definitely need a radical shift in understanding how we function and how we respond to our environment. And if we start changing that and giving particularly young children new ways of looking at their health and life, it really can make a difference. Where do you advise me to leave the phone? Well, I think when you're in bed, you should be sleeping, and the phone should be off, and it should at least off. Because if you have the phone on at night time, it's not a good thing to do. I mean, there's lots of evidence out there to suggest that if your immune system is compromised, if you're subjecting your body to electromagnetic radiation from your phones or whatever, Wi-Fi, then certainly it can be an issue. But the real, I always believe though, John, that the more we keep it simple, the better. Illness is not a complex thing. Illness is trying to tell us something. Our body's trying to tell us something. And if we could get people to think a little bit more positive and learn to take time to relax and look at their diet and remove a lot of the sugary foods and get fresh and wholesome food into their daily life. Those simple things, John, I keep reiterating it, are the ways to confront our illness issues. So it's just some of the basics, really. And I'm not trying to make light of them, because they're extremely important basics. But it's about what we're eating and sleeping. And obviously getting out there, getting exercise. Yeah, well, John, you take the person this morning who might be tired, who might get up and have their standard cornflakes or orange juice or whatever the case may be, bread. So suddenly you have gluten, you have dairy, you have you have sugar going into the system. It takes a lot of energy out of the body to digest that. So what's happening is our brain requires 20 to 25% of the food that we eat on a daily basis. If we're not absorbing the nutrients properly from our gut, then what happens is we crave the stimulants. But the problem is it takes so much energy to break that down, we suddenly become very tired. And this is why we're seeing the increase in obesity and type 2 diabetes and, learning and behavioural difficulties. A lot of this goes back to looking at getting the food right. Okay, so do you sit down with people and talk to them about their lifestyles, make new plans? Yes. And work out strategies in that way? Or are there other approaches? Because people have talked about you as having healing hands and different things you might do. Look, at the energy work we do, we can't undermine it in any way, shape or form, because yes, when we work with the energy
carries blood oxygen nutrients around the body. I mean, the Noetic Institute of Science shows this. Professor Valerie Hunt spent 25 years mapping the entire bioenergetic process. She says that once we get the energy flowing, the body can heal itself. When people come to us, the first thing we do is outline to them exactly what might be causing their problem. But then key to that is getting the energy flowing. And when we do that, so we're not touching the body, sometimes we are. When we are getting the energy flowing, sometimes people feel different sensations, tingling, cool, maybe being pulled backwards or forwards. But once we get that energy flowing, yes, we sit them down, and one of the treatments is about sitting the client or patient down, explaining to them about the need to take time to relax, explaining about the need to look at the nutritional changes they need to make, looking at their family environment, looking at the work environment, and as you're rightly saying, creating some form of strategies that can enable the people to take control and be responsible for their own health. And that's the greatest challenge, is that people need to waken up from the illusion. There's no magic wand or magic pill. Any good consultant or doctor will tell you that. We're ending up inside in the hospital beds, inside in doctor surgeries this morning, not because of something that happened in the hospital or the doctor surgery. It's something that we're doing in our life. And our environment, it's full of toxins. Our food is full of, toxins and sugars. This is where the basis of our problem is, and it's fundamental that people take this on board when they come to our clinic.
Right. You say, though, that you're not trying to replace conventional medicine or the doctors.
Correct.
You're there to complement it as well. So, I mean, there is a time when you'll have to see your doctor for certain things, obviously, and certain hospital treatments will be required.
Absolutely. I mean, from time to time, I would suggest to people who would come to us that if they hadn't had their medical assessment, to go and have it, because obviously that's fundamental, that people have proper medical analysis. I work with many members of the medical profession, some of them professors in urology, cardiology, gastroenterology, because I think that's the way forward, that we need to create an integrated approach that puts the patient and client at centre of focus. And if we can do that, then that integrated approach can have the best results, because it's the biggest challenge to our economic situation today, the whole healthcare, and it's worse it's getting, John.
Right, and you say it's about taking it into your own hands. Now, you do need the experts' help at times.
Absolutely.
But taking more responsibility for yourself, or asking why things are happening, is that it?
Yeah, there are lots of little things too that people can do, John, that I always say the most valuable thing we have in life is time. People say, it's our health. No. The most valuable thing that you and I have in life is time. Why waste it on the past, thinking about things that we can't change? I say to people, if you have something to worry about, take 15 minutes in the day and worry about it. Focus on today. Make today the point of focus where your life can turn. If you believe that your situation can't be changed, then it can't. But what Professor Irvin Kirsch, who's a professor of psychology, says, we can alter our experience by what it is we believe about our situation. And what we need to do is change people's beliefs around themselves and how it is that they themselves, with the right skills and techniques, can change the way they see themselves. Because time, as I said to you, is so relevant to us, and we need to make it relevant. And it's sad when I see patients coming into my clinic, John, who have been given 6 months or 2 years to live. Suddenly time becomes relevant. Right now, today, this moment is the most important thing. And that if we take the right attitude, if we approach it correctly, take a proactive approach and take that responsibility, it's amazing what you can achieve.
You are hosting a seminar in Ennis this weekend, Michael.
Yes, John, we're arising out of the problems of people with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, digestive disorders and that kind of stuff. We've seen the need to educate people, and that's what I want to do over the next coming years. And Saturday we're beginning this, where we're taking people in and we're beginning to educate them as to why it is the body is ill, how it's affecting them, and how it is they can overcome that. And as I said, that's not negating the value of what medicine has to offer, but it's to really bring some degree of understanding to the patients or to the members of the public that might be suffering from these types of problems. Okay,
it's your chronic fatigue seminar taking place at the TempleGate Hotel on June 27, Saturday, and the cost €50. People can look up or email info@michaelodoherty.com or call 684-1844. We'll put those details on our website as well on Clare.fm. Michael, thanks very much
my pleasure,
for joining us this morning. We had a man in Spansett Hill yesterday told me not to take life too seriously or to be worrying about little things either, because he said none of us will get out of it alive, in the end. So a lot of people got a laugh out of that yesterday. We're going to Spansett Hill again next for more colour and crack from the fair. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, John.
Get in on the conversation now. Tweet us @ClareFM.